I struggled for a decade and a half thinking I was a loser, thinking I wasn't smart, thinking I had no potential or personal worth, when there were simple things that we could have done to be able to activate those parts of our brain that I wasn't. I realized that it's not about how smart you are. Some of you listening are asking yourself how smart you are, how smart your kids are, how smart your team is. It's not how smart you are. It's how are you smart? It's not how smart you are. It's how are you smart? Because we all have genius. But
we all have our own superpower.
We do.
It's just uncovering it and learning how to express it. One of the superpowers that I've seen you do incredibly well is actually build a business off the back of your memory. Mm-hmm. And I mean that in a way of absolute admiration, because the realms in which you've been able to take your technology kind of far go beyond the everyday of, I just want to learn how to, read faster. I just want to learn how to remember everyone's names. You now play at the level, it's like, dude, I got to remember, I'm in this fucking $100 million blockbuster. I've got to remember these lines. Right. Can you help me out? I'm curious how you went from the transition of, okay, I now, the lights go on. I now know how to learn. You know what? I actually love this so much. This is going to be a business.
Okay.
And not just a business. Now I can say the likes of Will Smith and, are now my clients. The X-Men, you end up going and working with all the X-Men, I believe. Is that correct?
Correct. I would, okay, so when I was 18, I learned these superpowers, and I discovered and developed them, and I realized other people I was tutoring, helping my friends. I had lost all this weight, and I couldn't afford to eat.
So you were tutoring your friends now?
Well, just as because I couldn't help, but when you're struggling this whole time,
and then you get the keys,
you don't want other people to suffer. Yeah, so I started just for free, helping my friends out, and they would at night order all this food because the food on campus was really bad. And here's me who has lost all this weight. I couldn't afford to eat, because I didn't have any money. And a friend was like, hey, why don't you tutor other people like you're tutoring us? Just charge them for it. And I was like, that's great. That's a great value add. And so I found a classroom that wasn't being used one Thursday night. And I said, okay, next week I'm going to put 5 or 10 people in that room. And maybe after I teach them some things for free, maybe 1 or 2 of them want to learn and be tutored by me. So I go back and I take a piece of paper and I scribble down. It's my first marketing ever. It was free speed reading, memory tips, get better grades in less time, and Thursday night, 7:00 in the classroom, right?
Beautiful. How old are you at this point? You're like 19?
18.
18
late 18, going on 19. And I make a bunch of photocopies the next morning on the way to class. I put some up on the bulletin boards, not a lot, but just around campus. Fast forward to Thursday. I'm walking to the classroom and I'm just hoping, Kerwin, just like 5 people show up, just 5.
And there's a line at the door.
And I turn the corner and there is that line out of the door. There's a crowd of people. But here's the thing, you only see what you believe is there.
Yeah.
So I thought, wow, I hope whatever's going on ends soon so I could do my thing, right? And
I love you, man.
And because you can't see what like it's always like this phrase. It's people always say, "Well, I'll believe it when I see it," but maybe it's that Wayne Dyer idea where you'll see it when you actually believe it. So I didn't see it because I didn't believe it. And there's this guy, tall guy, I remember in the doorway. I couldn't get in. I was like tapping on his shoulder, what's going on inside? He looked at me. He was like, there's a speed reading class. And honest to God, I go, wow, what a coincidence. What are the odds? What are the odds? The same night, the same room, there's another speed reading class. And I pushed my way in and the room's crowded, standing room only. And lo and behold, nobody's teaching. And it takes my slow brain all that time to realize why they're all there. And I do a head count, and instead of 5 or 10 people, there's 110 people.
Wow.
And keep in mind, I'm 18 years old.
Yeah.
I look really young. I'm lost all this weight. I have like t-shirt and shorts on. I'd have nothing prepared to talk about. There's teaching assistants, graduate students, a lot of people who are older and more experienced than me. And I'm the guy that walked out of that book report and threw out the book. Like I'm phobic of public speaking. Like a lot of people are a little, nervous, but like phobic is like you can't breathe. Like when somebody's phobic of those snakes, or like they can't
function.
They can't at all. And so I can't even breathe, and I go in fight or flight, and I flight. I leave.
Oh, wow.
Because I can't. I would love to say like, oh, it was amazing, and standing ovation.
This is
and
better.
No. So I leave because I don't believe in myself, and I just can't. I've never done it before, and I can't even go back to my dorm room because my friends are just gonna make fun of me in my mind, and so I go to these fountains, and water brings me back center. I don't know what it is about that element, but it always kind of relaxes me. And I'm like doing this meditation, and I don't even realize I'm doing this walking meditation back to my room, my dorm room, and I hear this voice inside my head, and it's my mother's voice. And I won't tell you exactly what she said, but essentially it was 100 people came out because you promised to help them. You're disappointing them, you're disappointing me. And and I don't want to disappoint my family. So I actually take one step back to the classroom. And it's so interesting that one step in another direction completely changes your destination or your destiny. And I think everyone can relate to this. One step, like who you're going to be with, or where you're going to live, or what are you going to do as for a career. It changes everything. And so I go back to the classroom and I speak for 2 hours. I teach, and I honestly don't know anything I spoke about. It just, I don't know how you are on stage. Sometimes it just flows.
Channels.
Yeah, it just channels right through. And Wayne Dyer was the same. I got to spend a lot of time with him speaking at events, and he would never prepare. He would just go out there and trust that, and be a vessel for it, and that he did the work, right? And so I don't remember what I said, but afterwards I come out of this trance, and I'm like, okay, well, if anyone's interested in what I just said, I need about 10 hours to teach you what I've learned, maybe 2 hours a week for the next 5 weeks. If you're interested, I get $30 an hour, because that's what I got teaching tennis back back when I was a teenager. I'll be in the student center tomorrow at noon if you're interested and have any questions. And honestly, it's so crazy. Everyone just got up and they left. Nobody came to talk to me or anything. And I'm completely confused. And when I'm there by myself, I kind of like in that classroom when everyone left and I didn't do the book report, I threw it out. I was so confused and I was so exhausted at the same time. I ended up falling asleep right on the carpet in that classroom because I'm mentally, emotionally, I'm spent. You ever had like this thing that you've always struggled with, and you do it and you feel so depleted and energized at the same time? I had the best night of my sleep in my life, and I got woken up by the classroom coming into the morning session.
Wow, you slept all night.
All night. And I look up drooling on myself, and I see all these people staring at me, and I run to my dorm room, take a shower, go to breakfast, go to class. 12 o'clock comes. I was like, oh, I told people I'd be in the student center, and I run to the student center a few minutes late. And I hope one person just thought enough of me that they'd be interested in going further. And when I get there, that same crowd of people were there. And at the end of 2 hours, 71 out of 100 kids signed up for a program that didn't even exist.
Wow.
Because I didn't at $300 US dollars a person, because I didn't even do the math that $30 an hour times 10 hours was $300. And I didn't realize that kids had... students had this card, ATM card, that they could go to the bank and just, this machine, take out $300, because I didn't have one. Yeah, right. And so now I'm not even 19 years old, and I have like $21,000 cash in my pocket, my book bag, right? And I've never seen like anything like that, anything close to that in my life.
There you have it, guys. Thanks for tuning in to Unstoppable with me, your host, Kerwin Rae. And please do not forget to subscribe to our YouTube channel, where you get to see all of these interviews in the flesh. Share this podcast with your friends. I would love to hear what you guys think. Thanks for joining us.